This is the Hypothetically Sound podcast,
hosted by Alec, Randy, and Xavier,
where we take a hypothetical look at the world around us,
exploring the what ifs, maybes, and how comes.
Join in on the unfiltered, raw, and real conversations
as we explore the world around us.
Xavier, have you seen what schools? Have you seen what schools have nowadays? Like, you graduated or stopped going to school in what, like 2012, 2013, right? 2014?
Yeah, something like
around there, right?
Like 2012, I think.
Yeah. So we graduated or got done with school around the time. And when I was in Wisconsin last, I visited Greg, who's a teacher at our old high school. And so he's like, "Hey, you want to see what they changed?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fucking."
Wait, is Greg? Okay, Greg's the teacher.
Greg's a teacher, yeah.
I thought Steve was a teacher.
But anyways, so we went to the school. They added some additions to the school, which is normal, all that cool stuff. But like, they have like an esports group now. Now this is small town Wisconsin, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I think class of like 70 people. He said was very small.
Dude, it's awesome if they have an esports team. I think that's actually right away. You mentioning that, I think that's something so fantastic. And I'm going to tell you why if you end up asking. Otherwise,
I will. I just want to get through the tour. So we went through the tour. They had new facilities for workouts and stuff. They kind of changed up the workout room. They're trying to upgrade it here soon. They had new CAD programs that they didn't have when I was in school less than 10 years ago.
Yep.
But including and with that CAD,
computer automated design.
Is like graphic design classes.
Yep,
they
beautiful.
Had
3D,
t-shirt prints and stuff in the CAD shop.
Yep, 3D model.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, they literally have
like one of the big things.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's part of the CAD system, right?
Well, yeah, you can't make a fucking what do you call it? Like a prototype or a proof of concept or anything. You can't do like a full 3D model.
So yeah, they had all this new stuff that like wasn't available.
Which you can do in VR, by the way.
Which we didn't have available when we were in school, right?
Right.
Which is crazy because do you think, like, my main question is, do you think your life would have been slightly different if these opportunities were presented to you while you were in like school?
So ironically enough, there were like some small ones presented to me in school as they were kind of experimenting on the like trying to gauge the interest of students, I think, on some of this stuff. So I did get to experience just like a small little tiny bit for one of my years of college, or not college, high school. But no, I think it's really valuable for people to get exposure to any sort of trade skill very, very quickly in high school. I think high school should be a literal nothing but a massive, just like adventure and exploration of all the different types of trade skills before, the last year of high school being, introduction into very longer term, university required fields outside of the trade skills.
Mm-hmm. Me and Alec talked about this a bunch, but I haven't talked to you about it. So I'll tell you, this is what I think school should be. So you go through elementary, you get to middle school, and this is where you learn, you get all your math. Like, I feel like we're slow with math and reading. Like, you can be college reading and math by like 12, 13.
Yeah, your ass also slow with typing. You like third grade typing.
Yeah, really bad typing. But high school, like you said, high school should be 2 tracks. And you should know what you want to do by 16. High school is 2 tracks. So by sophomore year, you either go to trade school for your last 2 years and you learn a trade, whatever trade you want. Like, we have all kinds of things, esports like that. Or you go to university track, where you go do a specialized, in-depth, so like cancer, medicine, things like that. And that's what universities are for, is for specialized things. It lowers the cost of universities by a whole bunch because now they don't have to have all these like broad majors. They can do specified majors.
Because they already have their
they have their education up to that
basics,
point.
Yeah.
And then you have kids that are coming out of that are 18 now that are going into a trade, be it cooking, be it janitor, be it electrician, be it whatever in the world they want to do. Now they have this ready to go. And America becomes the fucking powerhouse that it's meant
to be. Yes. Like, and it's crazy because some of this stuff isn't even hard to understand. It's like, people talk about having a need or, some area somewhere in our production or manufacturing that has a need, or, they're not doing well, or, the candidates, or, there's a need or desire for people to fill the role. Like, there's so much more curving of how things go in life that they could do that we, receive, that's much more beneficial than the dog shit that they have in place right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Because who the fuck would be mad to have like, no, I'm not gonna have my child, be prepared as fuck. They only got to go to school for 9 hours a day, and the rest of their fucking time is free as fuck, like an adult, and they're gonna be prepared and be close to six figures or making six figures, possibly depending on the trade, after school. No, I will never let anyone tell me what direction my child's going. Like whatever. And it's like, well, if he wants to go that way and he's cool, they're cool with it, as long as there's not like a complete and total, absolute no, then fucking send it. What the fuck? Otherwise, pick someone else. Boom.
And like, so I think back, so like I went to inner city schools, and like middle school was like inexpensive experiences. So like for art, we went to a church in North Minneapolis and worked on graffiti and learned from like a independent artist who lived in Minneapolis. And then for science, we walked around downtown Minneapolis, went to like the Mississippi River, and used our surroundings to learn things. Super cool. And then I go to Wyzetta for high school, which is a freaking mall. Like, it's so big. Like, for language, instead of like, just turning and talking to your classmate in German, we went to a language lab that had it was like 80 chairs that you put on headphones and you talk to someone random. And then I even had a like record making class. So we went in and made songs my freshman year. We made the beat, we recorded audio, and got to put it on a CD. Like, that was our final for that class. And so like those were cool things. And then I went to Hudson, so like it was in between middle class, and like we had like shop and home ec and theater, and we made video. We had a video class where we could make movies and stuff. But like Alec was talking about the new school stuff, like even that is more like, if I would have had that choice, like I got into theater because I didn't have any choice. Like it was football or theater. Yeah, go ahead.
I went to jail.
Yeah.
Probably same, but like,
and that's like that, and that's what I. There are so many different times that I can't even explain like how big that is for some, that they are accepting of that culture, because that was a culture that was not accepted.
Mm-hmm.
That was a culture that, people felt, like they were doing something wrong for investing their time in a skill, because it is a skill. But there are so many things that gaming works on: hand-eye coordination, mathematical skills, problem-solving skills, reaction time. There's 100,000 different things. So there's never a single time that you can say that playing a video game is bad. And especially to a competitive level. What's the difference between, playing a physical sport to a competitive level, or a mental or intellectual sport to a, competitive level? It's all the same.
One makes you a fucking nerd.
One makes you a nerd, sure, yeah.
Got him.
The other can leave you with, lifetime side effects on your body. I mean, both can, but the other can leave much more detrimental lifetime side effects on your body.
Oh, very true, very true.
I mean, think of golf, think of football, think of, the concussions, the twisting body in golf, basketball, all the different, fucked up ankles, legs, muscles, broken bone. Like, the list goes fucking on, right? And it's like, in video gaming, it's like, sure, if someone stays up too late, they can exhaust themselves and pass out and, have other side effects like that. But again, you have to, if you're that committed to the sport, that can happen. You have to have moderation. You got to know when to stop. All those things. But at the end of the day, when you compare the two, they are the same, just two different parts of the human body.
And then one thing that's never talked about, like, people look at video games and, like, this is going to go off topic from the school thing for a quick second, but people look at video games and they go, oh, it messes with your brain. It sure does. Like, just like football, basketball, all these sports, like, you can get addicted to it. There's people who are addicted to working out, that do too much, that take drugs to enhance. And there's people who, like, get into football and love hitting so much that they do it outside of the sport. Just like people who get into video games, like, take on antics of whatever video game they're playing. So if they're playing GTA, yeah, maybe they do start calling women bitches and hoes and doing stupid shit that they shouldn't do. It's about helping these kids understand, like, with any sport, anything, like, you have to work with their mental as well as their physical. And we don't do that enough. But to talk about, I think you talked about how you went to jail. I think that it's true. If these classes are available to inner city students, CAD classes, drawing classes, esports, cooking, all of these classes, if they're readily available to inner city kids from a young age, they're not going to gangs. They're going to find something they're interested in and want to do it and want to stay in school. Why? Like, I didn't want to go to school. I didn't go to school a bunch because I didn't care about math or history. Like, we're not dumb. We know we're not being taught the appropriate history. And then when we do get to learn about our history, it's whitewashed and dumbed down, and we spend an hour a week on it for a week during February. Like, why would these kids in the inner city want to learn this shit? They're not dumb when they can go out and make money. If they have trade school classes and are learning a skill at 16, when a lot of kids do need to help support their family, they can go get a job while actually still going to school. Like,
and it makes even more sense, and it gives them even more, like, a feel of direction.
And it gives them another outlook of how to get out the hood and
exactly
advance in life. So.
And it doesn't even have to necessarily be a sense of direction. Just most people are just looking for some sense of accomplishment. Mm-hmm. I don't even think it's that, at any given point in time, someone is happy where they are as long as they feel accomplished with what they're doing.
Like, people in college, like, inner cities would come up a lot in a lot of my communications classes. And since grew up in it, like, I wouldn't allow, like, stupid, shallow stuff be used in class. And people always ask about gangs. And gangs are different now than when I grew up and when we grew up. They're more violent now and more, like, showy. But the same principle stands. You're in the inner city. I have a thing for that, by the way, too. Yeah. You're in the inner city and you see your parent or parents go to work every day and they're gone for 12 hours a day and they're barely making ends meet. You don't have the things you want. You can barely eat. You don't have good clothes. And then you go to school, and when you're standing at the corner on the bus, you see these 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds standing on the corner with new J's, new clothes, got money, drinking, eating, having fun. And then you go home and your parents are like, yeah, go to school, you'll get better. But you see them not being better. And you see these kids across the street having fun, doing the things you want. Who are you choosing? Like, why wouldn't you choose the people who are having the things you want that aren't struggling? Yeah, of course they're going to turn to drugs and gangs and stuff like that. Like, it's not incomprehensible that this is the choice. Like, why struggle when you don't have to struggle?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, gangs now are dumb, but
that's what I was going to say before is, like, it's a product of a system that is designed to be the way that it is, and then it's like, what's even funnier is that in today's, media age, you have so much access to so many things, and because of the fact that you can become popular at some random spot in the world. And that popularity can then, like wildfire, spread across the world so quickly, and people can actually generate money and start to get revenue and, shit from clout, popularity, and all of that. The fact that that even exists is, what turned what you were talking about earlier. Like now it's like, more angry, more flashy, more, and that's because they are gaining popularity for all the groups by doing that. And that's where you get all these artists that crop up, for a short period of time and then suddenly disappear, whether it be from a bad accident or they just fall off, whatever the case. It's like all that shit stays the same. It's just, that's why they're all cycling through. It's just the area of profit generation. They get some money for a little bit and then it just keeps going.
And I love hip hop. Like hip hop's my genre. Like I grew up, it's the culture.
Same.
But let's not pretend that current mainstream hip hop has gone so overboard with the gangster shit, dude. And like throwing it in the faces. Like I don't remember we were talking about this on the way home when we drove back to Minnesota, or from Minnesota. Like there's rappers who don't do the things they're saying. They're like, yeah, I say it because it's popular, it's catchy.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't out there selling anymore. You ain't gang banging. You ain't shooting anybody. Like, but you're saying it because it's what's trending. It's what they're doing. And then you got these kids who are like 8, 9 that are joining these gangs because of all these things. And then thinking this is what I have to do to get popular. I saw a video the other day of people in St. Louis, dudes just getting gas at like 10 p.m. and a car pulls up and these dudes jump out, 4 dudes jump out with AKs and chase a dude into the gas station and steal his car. Why? Like, why did you chase him into the gas station? He left. Take the car. Yeah. But like, we got these people pulling up to high school games and high school practice shooting kids for no reason. Like, it's absurd. And like, we can't just say, well, gangs being gangs. There are levels to this. And unfortunately, hip hop is feeding into this level. Not all hip hop, obviously, but there are hip hop that are leading into this. And there's media that leads into it. And then there's parenting that leads into it. We're at a generation now where like these kids are being raised by younger people just because that's how human society is working, younger parents. And they're still trying to do these TikTok things, going clubbing and stuff because that's popular to do at 25. And I understand it. I did this shit when I was 25. But like, I don't have a kid. Like, it's hard, man. It's unfortunate. Like, people doing wild shit for no reason.
Yeah, it's
sure.
It's a hard thing, and that's why like I really miss a lot of like the soul R&B and soul hip hop, and stuff like that, because I feel like that was back when rap and hip hop and shit like that was at its best.
100%. I'll listen.
And I feel like that was, that kind of sums up the earlier, I think, era of rap, hip hop, and stuff like, and R&B and stuff like that. It was more soulful, and I think it did really get away from that because it's more entertainment based now.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, like the Dre's, NWA's, the Warren G's, Tupac's, and all them, they talk violence, like talk about shooting and stuff with them. But as a society in whole, as a society in whole, like I remember, like I never once fought, like growing up, I fought all the time. It was fists. Never once was I worried about a gun. I've had knives pulled on me in the middle of a fight. Cool, whatever, I can handle that. But never once was I worried about a gun. Nowadays, there's zero chance I get in any altercation without having a gun on me. Because I'm assuming the person that is trying this altercation has a gun.
True.
Like if we get an altercation, I'm leaving. Like if someone got road rage, I'm dipping. Like even there's times when I'm on the road and like I'm like, is this person? Do I have to worry about this person getting angry about some shit and like pulling out a gun? What am I gonna do with this situation? Like a red light or something.
See, this is why I'm gonna get shot one day, dude. Because Rand gonna get an altercation, and I'm gonna have to deal with it. And I'm gonna pull out a knife, and he's gonna pull out a gun, and I'm still gonna think I'm gonna win.
The fucked up part is I feel that exact same way. like, so the problem is I don't fear it in the car as much because
Mhm.
you have the ability to just floor it,
Yeah.
floor it, you lean to the side, they're likely not going to hit you. Are they going to hit your gas tank? Most fucking likely not. Like, if you look over, you see a motherfucker pointing a gun at your gas tank, then maybe, but they about to kill themselves too. But you know what I mean? Like, but that ain't, so in that regard, yeah, but you are 100% right. It's like, you got to wonder about those sorts of things. And it's unfortunate. And that's just an overarching, I think, angst that, society has itself. It's not just you, it's not just me, it's literally everyone. It's the shit that you hear in media, it's, all the shit that's going down, like it's happening. So, of course, it's always going to build and build and build that bit of angst. But, it's,
Mhm.
what do you do? It's like when I worked at T-Mobile, I was worried about that shit from that one interaction that I told you I had, that experience that I had. And then it's like, I also worked in tech repair and other places, and it was like, how many times is someone going to get mad over something not being able to be fixed?
Mhm.
Like, before they realize they're just it is literally just a fact of life. There are some things that are just unable to be fixed or whatever, like can't be solved, problems that don't have a solution, like at least at the current time. So you just have to, just accept it.
Mhm.
Right.
That's a whole nother topic, right? Our whole
Yeah.
culture of instant gratification, whether it be Amazon, whether it be jobs that just, hire you right away and you're working from home within 10 minutes, like,
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. But that's another thing that's like severely hurt so many people, having so much access to stuff and having no ability to moderate themselves or
Yeah.
appreciate things that never existed, or in theory probably shouldn't exist because they hurt a lot of things because of their existence. Amazon.
Mhm. 100.
Agreed.
Not that Amazon is a bad thing. It is very,
It's still it's a
it's
low, like, minus company policies for workers. When you look at the Walmarts and Dollar Generals and stuff of the world,
mm,
Amazon is a lower evil to me than
mm,
those.
mm.
But yeah, still a lot of issues with.
When you think about, some of the things that you're supporting by paying into, and it is what it is. I mean, but again, they support Twitch, or they own Twitch now or whatever too. So it's like, you know,
Did I kick you and not make you leader?
Yes,
it's one
sir.
of those things. It's one of those things where you always wonder. Um, and that's like, again, another topic, right? When you look at a company like Amazon, and it's like, they're running Amazon, one of the biggest, nicest online suppliers, distributors in the world. They offer the ability for small individual, people like us to be, people who do drop shipping on there, all kinds of stuff. But back to the part that I was getting at. Um, fuck, I don't remember what I was getting at now.
Something about the helping a
Twitch
little
and
man out.
Amazon.
Oh, so you look at, back to what I was getting at. You look at Amazon, who owns one of the biggest, like I said, online distributors in the world, access to a lot of shit, picks up little companies like, us, for example, or other people for that matter. And then you look at the fact that they made the investment of buying Twitch, right? And you're like, oh, okay, so cool. They made a smart move. They offer a big platform to sell a lot of shit. And then they buy a platform that people create content, whatever, generate interest. People watch that content. And they now have a platform or a way to target audience, control the ad placement, which farms data and also gives them ads.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, two big things to do right there, right?
For sure.
Boom. So they got access to all that. So whatever previous data that Twitch had too, whatever that may be, Boom, they got access to all that too. Boom. Okay, cool. So then they start fucking with ads, whatever. They start working with content creators, whatever, and create this new ad, structure, whatever. It's like, okay, cool, that turned out pretty good. So then you look at Amazon, and then suddenly Amazon starts to try, buying games, Lost Ark, New World, all the other shit. And then you look at how fucking terrible the video game side went, and a lot of that is from PR or personal relations, or even what do they call it? Just like relations with their community, community management, whatever. Those two things fucking did terrible on both of those things, which are kind of like the center of both like those communities. Or the only way a game company can exist or like a game will survive is through communication and providing results for the concerns that their community has. And then you wonder, what the fuck happened? And I think I know the answer to this is like, can you honestly say Amazon is good if that happened with their video games and there's really no other option other than Amazon? Do you think Amazon would exist if there's another one?
If there was another company like Amazon?
Because why do you think their game companies died?
Yeah, because they don't know how to handle competition. And how to develop or how to innovate. Like that's it. Amazon doesn't innovate. Zero innovation.
Well, Amazon itself was an innovation, though. Can you say that?
Amazon, like he even says, like, and I'll give him credit. When he first thought about doing Amazon, they lost like I think he said he lost like a hundreds of, I think it was like $100 million they lost, and he told his like investors, just stick with me, it'll catch on. Cool, it did, but they didn't really change much. Like they didn't innovate anything. Like the biggest innovation was same day delivery.
I was gonna say when it comes to Twitch though too is like JTV was a thing, was like one of those like hidden, not even hidden, it was like one of those like underground websites that people used that got bought out and became Twitch. So it already had like a starting like
it had a
fan base, right?
It had a fan base of like 1 million people easily.
And so like it's difficult to it's difficult to say that Amazon like does anything innovative. I agree with Rand, just because they're just taking the bare bones of things. And
but that's not the thing though. They're not looking to be innovative. So that's using something that
but if they were, but that's the thing, but if they were innovative, a lot of their shit wouldn't fail.
Like there's a reason why like the name Amazon shows. You have The Boys, you have The Lord of the Rings. Like there's shows that I watch that I know that I like, but most of their shows are absolute failure.
I guess what I'm saying is video games is that there's that's an example of there's room for people to still make a difference, right? Amazon games died because there's other game companies, so people didn't have to put all their fruit in one basket. You look at Amazon, it's like people are so stuck on buying stuff from them because it's so convenient that their local stores lost out, and a lot of those closed, especially with COVID. COVID helped close those even further, which pushed people into the digital market even more. Things like that. Amazon is the only option. And it sucks, that it's the only option, and fuck them for being the only option. Well, not fuck them, but fuck us and people in general, because I could have made another option and gave people another, online source of tons of random shit like Alibaba or AliExpress. But then you look at those and it's like those exist too, and those do well because in those markets they are pretty much the same thing. And they even do semi well in the, in our market because we, people use that shit all the time because that's where you can only get some shit. So
you have like It and Groupon and Ship It, and you have these sites, but Amazon, like no one is similar to Walmart. Nothing will ever overtake Walmart. Nothing will ever overtake Amazon because of how aggressively they went nationally and internationally, that you can't compete on that scale.
I was gonna say, I think it's like trust and safe. Like Amazon's a lot of time is shit. Don't get me wrong, right? But like a lot of people who like never really heard of like AliExpress or these other sites, or know many people who use it like in their personal life, they trust a big name, a third party that you don't have to communicate with the seller. It does it for you. You know what I'm saying? Type deal. And I think that's their biggest benefit.
That's how every product, like when you go into the store and you have money. Money isn't a worry. Are you going generic or name brand? Like you're gonna go Coke over Dr. Fizz type thing. Like you know, like you're not going to go generic if money's not an issue. And the most innovative thing, and this is a hot take, most innovative thing any of these companies that we talked about have done is being the first. You look at Apple. You look at Apple or Microsoft. You look at Tesla. Like, I think there are better electrical vehicles out there than Tesla, but Tesla is the name. Tesla is the brand. Tesla is the first major player to become popular. And those are the companies that stay succeeding. Like, I think there are better colas out there than Coke, but Coke is that brand. Is that dude. There isn't better Sprite, but there's still, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there are better options, but like Hershey is not a good chocolate bar. There are better chocolate bars out there, but Hershey will always be that brand, that name.
It's what it's what you think of when you think of a chocolate. And I think that, and I think, again, Amazon's going to always be that one, but I certainly do think that,
And there's market. Like, you just have, it becomes a thing when there's a giant, you need to find your niche. So, for example, you got Walmart, who sells everything, but then you have Aldi's, who's a very similar market to Walmart, but they found their niche in affordable food. Or you got like clothing brands that found affordable clothing brands, and they just found their niche and fit into where they can get in, type thing. And I think go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I think if people didn't like control markets and control stuff so much, it'd be a lot easier. Because this kind of leads back to like the whole trade school thing too. And part of why, like, it's kind of clear why the system doesn't exist. And competition is, a thing that people really, really dislike. But at the same time, competition breeds innovation and new things and, expansion, advancement, overcoming hurdles. Competition brings all of that. So as much as people don't like it, innately, I feel like competition was never designed to be hurtful or bad. It was always designed to propel and make people better. Healthy competition is what it was meant to always be. There shouldn't have really ever been an unhealthy competition. Unfortunately, things get abused and turned into unhealthy by lack of moderation or how things are gone about. But it's one of those things where if things were always healthy competition, in a perfect world, in theory, a lot of these concepts that we view as inherently bad are not actually bad.
It's monopolies. Like, I think modern day monopolies are different than what the monopoly fixture was originally meant to be. Amazon is a monopoly of its industry in the sense that while other companies can still get in and do things, there's no competition for Amazon. Then there will never be competition for Amazon on that scale. And I think that's a modern day monopoly. Same with like Walmart. There's Targets, there's all these stores, but they're not competing on the scale that you want in a free capitalistic system. You want multiple businesses to succeed because that gives more jobs and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's just not gonna happen, and it's unfortunate because, like you said, it does take away some of the innovation of people coming up because, like, I want to make a Walmart, but like you start going into that and you're like, how? Or even here's something small. I want to be a Mr. Beast. Like, Mr. Beast is a very like what he's doing is so hard to recreate. it's wild. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's wild.
Okay, it's good points though.
Awkward, but yeah, no, thank you. That was a good talk. I think we definitely got a lot of good stuff out of that. Thank you for listening to Hypothetically Sound. We hope you enjoyed the episode. All episodes can be found at hypotheticallysound.podbean.com, as well as on Apple, Spotify, and Pandora. For full unedited video versions of the podcast, please visit us at youtube.com/hypotheticallysound.